Hmm? Okay. Let's begin with the prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki jai Shri Nitai Gauranga ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Welcome everyone for the Sunday morning session on Science of Self-Realization. So today we are going to conclude our session on the topic which we have been discussing since last 5 sessions. It is a very interesting topic. Yeah. Hope all of you can see screen. Hare Krishna. Can all of you see the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So this is the topic, the tiny world of modern science, right? So very interesting subject matter, which Prabhupada was having as a conversation with the devotees, disciples in America while he was on a morning walk, right? We have been discussing many interesting points since last few sessions, and today we're going to conclude this particular topic. So all these discussions are happening by the inspiration of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of Worldwide Hare Krishna Movement, Iskcon, who has so mercifully given us all these teachings in a very, very easily understandable manner, and also in a recorded form for us, so that we can all easily access them and try to understand the true import of the Vedic scriptures. So in the previous sessions, we have discussed the following few major things, which I will not tell everything, but few things which we'll try to recap. So the discussion began with Prabhupada always wanted to impress upon all the people of the population, because the scientists have been claiming that life comes from matter, but it is the other way around. Matter comes from life. In fact, this particular phrase, Prabhupada is been extensively using throughout his teachings. Because this misconception that you can produce life from matter is an atheistic type of a understanding. Rather, the true understanding is that life comes from, rather matter is originating from life, and life also gives life to one more life. Right? The famous book of Prabhupada, again, these conversations only compiled. It is called Life Comes from Life. Very interesting book. I suggest all of you go through that book. It's having a nice series of conversations of Prabhupada with his disciples. And Prabhupada comes to the point of making us understand that soul is a small God. Right? God is unlimited, omnipotent, omniscient, and whereas we as part and parcel, we also have those very potencies in a very minute quantity. Because this point Prabhupada made was to make us understand that we as spirit souls are also able to generate so many chemicals in our body, just like the sweat, what we produce during summers. So where from this is produced? A dead body cannot produce sweat, right? So the scientists claim that the chemicals are the cause of life, right, is actually wrong. They are missing the point of where from these chemicals have come. That not that chemicals existed always. Chemicals also should have some origin, right? Where from these chemicals came? This is the point Prabhupada wants to make, because chemicals is not that they have automatically present always and automatically produce somewhere. No, this is a very unreasonable and illogical statement. So chemicals also have an origin. So this is what Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. All the different manifestations of all the different ingredients of this world is created by Krishna. The very famous Bhagavad Gita sloka, all of you will be aware. It is called Bhumirapo Nalo Vayu Tham Mano Buddhir Evacha Ahankaram Iti Yamme Bhinna Prakritir Ashtada. Which means Lord Krishna says all the different material elements, which is made up of the Panchabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. Lord Krishna says they're all mind, separated energy. They are not independently existing, or they are apart from Lord's creation. No. Whatever you see in this material world is all Lord's creation only. Nothing beyond Lord's creation. This is an important point which we have to understand. So, Prabhupada brings in the point of what is known as the mystic power in God and living entities. Just like I gave the example of we have mystic power, we produce. So in our body, air grows, nail grows. So we have some level of mystic power. Whereas God's power is unlimited. He's omnipotent and He's omniscient. So His powers are unlimited. So how much more powerful God must be with regard to various aspects of this creation. So whereas the scientists claim maybe, but okay, right now we're not able to figure out things, but in the future we'll do something. In future we'll figure out. One more very famous statement Prabhupada often makes with regard to scientists' claim of having a better future. We'll see that there'll be no diseases in the future. We will see that no man dies in the future. But all these claims, Prabhupada says, are all false claims. Prabhupada says, trust no future, however pleasant. He gives a very wonderful example of how you say that you'll give me 100 crore rupees in the very near future. But for time being, at least you give me 1 lakh cash. But I can believe that you're going to give me some money. Only you're giving false assurances that I will do this, I will do that, I can give you that money, this money. That doesn't work. So what Prabhupada want to tell us, that this way of claiming the things that I will change the future or we will do something very wonderful is all simply bogus. Right? So Prabhupada also brings in one more perspective of how the modern day scientists, philosophers, they think that they know everything and they want to judge everything based on their limited understanding. This is what is known as, Prabhupada says, in the Vedic understanding, it is known as Kupa Manduka Nyaya. Or in a simple English language, it is called Dr. Frog's philosophy. Right? The frog who is in the well is only knows about his 3 feet well. Whereas the ocean frog, who knows the vast expanse of the ocean, unlimited expanse of the ocean. So the frog in the well will only understand his whole environment, and his world is only 3 feet well. Like that, all of us are having limitation with regard to our conditioned way of thinking and seeing things around us. We only want to judge everything based on our limited understanding. That is called Frog's philosophy, right? So Prabhupada brings in the classic defect in the modern day understanding. It's called inductive process, wherein everything we will judge with our limited understanding, and we will try to come to some conclusion based on our limited understanding, and we want to know the world with our limitations. That is called inductive process. Whereas the Vedic way of understanding is not inductive process, it is called deductive process. Deductive process means we take knowledge from authorities. We don't depend on our limited understanding or limited perception, because our senses are limited. and our knowing of things around the world is limited. Just like the example Prabhupada also gives with regard to an ant in your room. Maybe it is 12 by 12 feet room. And in the corner of your room, you will only think that, oh, this whole room is my world. This world is this big. But it's only one of your rooms. There's so many other rooms, in your house as well. And this limitation of having only the understanding of a specific place in a specific body is all because of our conditioning, right? So Prabhupada gives us the wonderful concept of what is known as inductive process and deductive process, which means one is the ascending process or step-by-step process of we researching and experimenting and figuring out things. Whereas the deductive process is don't waste time in research, rather simply accept the facts, truths as coming down in the authoritative process. That is what is known as parampara system, the disciplic succession system, Guru Parampara system, right? So this is the defect in the modern day type of education and understanding. People don't take the authoritative knowledge. Everything they want to experiment, everything they want to verify, because our verification and our understanding is all limited. And Prabhupada also explains how the modern science is having some level of semblance with Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy means analyzing the world into its basic ingredients. Sankhya philosophy says there are 24 basic ingredients of this how this world is made. But the modern day science, which is sometimes they get into this analysis known as metaphysics, they just limit themselves to this what they see. There are things beyond our vision. The soul, the super soul, which they miss out. Just like our body is working because of the existence of the soul in the body. When the soul is out of the body is useless. Because soul is present in the body, the consciousness is all pervading. Like the sun is out now in the sky. And because sun is out, sunshine we can see everywhere. And the presence of sunshine will confirm that sun is present in the horizon, right? Similarly, soul's presence will give us the confirmation that the consciousness, symptoms of consciousness will give the understanding that, yes, the soul is present. So the concept of energy and energetic, right? The consciousness is the energy, and the source of the energy is the energetic, that is spirit. So likewise, Lord Krishna's various manifestations in the material world, various other workings going on in the material world is because Lord Krishna's wonderful presence as Vishwatma or super soul, because of which the whole world is coming. This particular thing, at this particular point, the modern day science is lacking, right? They only see the material nature working as immediately they're seeing some results. Oh, this tree is growing, this animals or species we are seeing. But beyond that immediate cause, there is a remote cause. This is the understanding which the Vedic scriptures give us. Especially in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, the material nature is not working independently. Right? Lord Krishna says, this material nature's laws are created by him, the all-perfect Lord. And they are working under his direction. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. See, like this, Prabhupada revealed to us so many wonderful concepts from the Vedic perspective to see things from the right perception. So, the laws of nature are all created by Krishna, and laws of nature are working under the direction of Krishna. The sun is rising, the seasons are changing. Whatever is happening in this material world is all under the direction of Krishna. So, one more wonderful perspective Prabhupada gives is with regard to how we are living in a relative world. For an ant, a few days of its life is 100 years, according to its lifespan. Right? Whereas for humans, our 100 years is something based on our calculation. Similarly, there is an example in the Bhagavad Gita about Brahma's lifespan. Brahma, who is the secondary creator of this material world, has his lifespan, a very huge lifespan. It's like our The yuga in which we are living is called Kali Yuga. Previous to this was Dwapar Yuga. Previous to that was Treta Yuga, and previous to that was Satya Yuga. These 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali, are going in cycles. Right? So like this 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas is what is Brahma's one day, 12 hours. Similar 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas is Brahma's one night, which means 24 hours of Brahma is 2,000 cycles of 4 yugas. Like this 30 days, like this 12 months, like this 100 years. Brahma says, lives, and this comes to some trillions of years. According to our calculation, it is 311 trillion and few billions years. So like this is Brahma's, fantastic, very long duration of life it looks. But from the cosmic point of view, from Lord Krishna's point of view, it is a flash. That's what Prabhupada wanted to explain. So let's move forward with our discussions in today's session and conclusions. So when this aspect of relativity of each living entity's lifespan was being discussed, then one of the devotees was posing as a scientist. He started asking this question: weren't all the varieties of animals existing from the beginning? Why this question has come up is because the modern day teachings or understanding or learnings what we have is that these species evolved. There was first a one-cell amoeba, and gradually there were, the very simple living entities evolved, and then finally complex living entities came about. This is the understanding which we have been taught in the schools and colleges. So when Prabhupada says that there are different types of living entities all across the creation and all of them have relative lifespan, this created a question in the mind of this devotee scientist. He was asking, is all the varieties of animals and different species of life existing from the very beginning? For which Prabhupada says, yes. Simultaneous creation is verified by the Bhagavad Gita. Just see, Bhagavad Gita has all the knowledge, complete understanding. Prabhupada says, just read Bhagavad Gita every day carefully. You'll get complete knowledge of all the Vedic scriptures. That's all. Right? So Prabhupada is going to quote now. Prabhupada says it's all the living entities existing from the very beginning of creation. It's not that, when the beginning of creation only single cell or few very simple living entities were there, then complex living entities came. No. Prabhupada says all the varieties or animals and men as well as demigods were existing from the beginning. From the beginning of creation, everything existed. A living entity wants a certain type of body and Krishna gives it to him. Whatever the living entity desires, accordingly, the living entity gets a specific type of a body. Because he desires things in a certain way, he associates certain qualities of nature in matter. So this is exactly explained in Bhagavad Gita also. Based on the desires, karanam guna sangosya. Whatever desires you have, you associate with a particular type of a guna or a mode of nature, goodness, passion, or ignorance. Accordingly, nature will provide you different types of bodies under direction of Krishna. This point we have to note here. So according to this association, he receives a particular type of body. This is very clearly explained in Bhagavad Gita. So whatever body you have got is because of your desire, your association with a particular type of a mode of nature. If you desire to have Krishna association, Krishna will give you spiritual body. As long as you want to associate with the type of a materialistic type of living, material type of enjoyment, I want to, eat anything and everything. Krishna says, okay, you take the body of a hog or a pig. No, I want to fly like a bird. Okay, next life you take the body of a bird. So based on the desire we have, the type of desire means the psychic thinking, feeling, willing, then try to you try to contemplate on those things, associate with that particular thinking, then Krishna will give that body to you next life. It's a very important, subtle principle going on in our life journey, life after life. Body after body is changing like this, right? The psychological forces, the mind, thinking, feeling, and willing, determine the particular type of situation and the body that the living entity receives. This Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam teyatyante kalevaram tam tam eveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Whatever type of mentality you have, mentality means, as Prabhupada is telling here, psychological forces, mind, thinking, feeling, willing, then that will create situation in your system, in your mind-body system, wherein you desire to be like that, then Krishna will provide you that type of a body at the time of death. When death, this is the type of mentality you have, that body you will get according to the next life. The evolutionary process is there, but it's not an evolution of species. The theory of evolution, which we have studied in our schools and colleges, is not the right type of understanding. It is the evolution in a different way, as Prabhupada explains now. It's not evolution of species. So one species, you become another species gradually from small to big. No. It is a different type of species. Prabhupada says it is the spiritual evolution what happens. Prabhupada says it's not that one species of life develops from another. As Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita, Bhuta Gramasa Evayam Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate Ratriagame Avashap Partha Prabhavatyaha Ragame. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. This is what happens. Right? When Brahma's day comes, all living entities are born, and when Brahma's night comes, everything is annihilated. We discussed about Brahma's lifespan. A huge lifespan he has. One day, 24 hours of Brahma means it is 2000 cycles of 4 yugas. So which means the daytime, 12 hours, 1000 cycles, is the time when the living entities in the whole world comes into action, is manifested. That's what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. When it is daytime, everything becomes manifested. In the night, what happens? Just like in the evening or the night, shop closes, business closes. So Brahma goes to sleep, and all the world, all the manifestations are all, they go, either they are all annihilated, they're all destroyed. Again, morning creation starts. Just see. For Brahma, it is a regular activity. For us, it's, everything is going to end. Everything is finished. Again, next day, from wherever you have stopped, it will again begin from there. That's the same thing. So, like this, Krishna is giving us understanding that there's so many creations, so many annihilations have happened, and all this is happening under Krishna's direction, and all species existed all the time, and based on your evolution of consciousness, you will get different types of bodies. If you maintain a consciousness like an animal or other species of life, you'll get that body. If you cultivate your consciousness to become associate of Krishna, to devotee of Krishna, then Krishna will give you spiritual body. That's the whole point which Prabhupada is trying to make us here. So now Prabhupada brings in the point of what is known as spiritual evolution. Very important. This human form of life is meant to spiritually evolve and come out of the cycle of birth and death. This evolution is the spiritual evolution of the individual living entity through the various species of life. Actually, the different types of living entities, what you see, is all, again, as Bhagavad Gita explains, that the level of consciousness the living entities have. Type of, the awareness about who I am. Right? In the lower species of life, other than humans, the level of awareness about who you are is limited to what is known as body. Body means senses. Senses means just enjoy the senses. This level of consciousness. And there are species of life much lower than animals, which are not even aware of anything else. They are totally, uh, the harsh weathers. It's like the trees are standing in the harsh weathers. Cold, heat, summer, winter. Even then, they cannot do anything. They're helpless. If one enters into the body of a fish, he has to undergo the evolutionary process step by step. Very nice description is given in the Padma Purana, one of the Vedic scripture, where it is said, when a living entity is taken the body of a fish, then there is a step-by-step process of how the evolution happens as per the arrangement Lord Krishna has made in this material world. From aquatics, Jalaja, they take the body of the plants. From plants, they get the body of insects, reptiles, then the body of birds, then the body of animals. Like this, there is a very nice theory of evolution being described. Finally, in this, they go through 80 lakh species of life as aquatics, as plants, trees, birds, then insects, animals, then finally they get human form of life. Okay. If one is on the top of the stairs and somehow falls down, he again has to go up the evolutionary staircase step by step. Why Prabhupada is telling this statement is, making this statement is, in the modern theory of evolution, you just go on, to a particular stage and you never fall down. Or rather, your step is that, from small amoeba you start and you become complex organism. Right? Whereas the explanation given in the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and the various Vedic scriptures is that these different species of life is actually, in one sense, spiritual evolution going on, the consciousness upgradation. Right? Human form of life is that stage wherein you can come out of this material type of life and go to spiritual life. If you don't do that, again there is a fall down. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita very clearly. Right? So if your consciousness is maintained in the lower modes, like passion, ignorance, then you fall down. And when you fall down, just like from a staircase, somehow you have slipped off. Again, you have to go step by step. This is what's happening in the material world. So, human form of life is like a junction. Either you can liberate yourself or again keep yourself entangled in the material world, repeating the cycle of birth and death. This is called samsara chakra. Of course, the scientists are busy making so much research that they cannot understand this. This is why it's called a deductive process or the descending process. You have to take knowledge from these authorities, from scriptures. Not that we speculate, we experiment, we research, and not figuring out, and every time you're finding out new things. Right? Like this is what is going on in the modern day type of education. If you tell scientists there are going to be trees in the next life, they think that we are speaking nonsense. Right? They think, all species of life, they have their own way of seeing things. Dr. Frock's philosophy. But it's a fact that all these species of life are actually spirit souls. They've got these different types of bodies based on their previous actions, their karmas. Right? And again, when you get a tree body, you have to become next insect, or reptile, then bird, then like this whole evolution, it has to go through step by step. After all, what we can learn by research? Prabhupada is challenging. When the cause of all causes is known, then everything knowable becomes known, and nothing remains unknown. It's a very famous Vedic statement Prabhupada is quoting, that when the cause of all causes is known, kasmintu bhagavato vignate sarvamidam vignatam bhavati. If you know the absolute truth, all other truths become known. But if we don't know the absolute truth, then we are in ignorance. This is what is the point. Because we don't know who is Krishna, what is Krishna. Krishna is source of everything. Krishna is the origin of all the different manifestations. We don't know. We think the things have all come up on its own, and there is no creator. There is no proper system in this material world. This is what we are trying to analyze and come to some conclusion. But it is not a fact. The fact is, as per the authoritative understanding, everything is created by Krishna. Everything has a particular way, systematically it has been done. So this particular aspect we have to understand. So this is what Prabhupada is trying to tell, that if we know the absolute truth, all other truths become automatically known. Right? But if we don't know the absolute truth, we are in ignorance. It's like in darkness. Suddenly there's no power in your room in the evening. Everything becomes dark. Nothing is seen. Right? Yes, again, there is a light glowing. Then what happens? Everything becomes clear. It's like now in the daytime. You see everything very clear. Oh, there's a tree, there's animal, there's building, all is clear. The night, everything looks dark. That's the point. So which means, knowing the absolute truth means that knowledge, the awakening of knowledge of Lord Krishna. This is what Bhagavad Gita is trying to tell us. Awaken your understanding about Krishna. It's called Krishna consciousness. Right now, we are matter conscious only. And trying to figure out and trying to manipulate things and trying to find out what is the fact, but no answer, right? That way. So one may not be an official scientist or philosopher, but he may challenge anyone and talk boldly if he only knows one thing, Krishna. That's what Prabhupada did. He went all over the world very boldly, spoke to very eminent people from the material point of view, scientists, doctors, philosophers, politicians, right? Big personalities as per from the material point of academic point of view or from the political point of view, and he convinced them what is Krishna telling in Bhagavad Gita. What does Vedic scripture say about our life? What is the purpose of life? He was very clear in this point. So which means when you know Krishna, you know everything. That's the point. It's like telling you have 1 crore rupee with you. It has 1 lakh also. It has 1,000 also. It has 1 rupee also. Everything is there. So Prabhupada gives a wonderful perspective with regard to present day civilization. What is that? We are going all thinking, seeing, perceiving things around us based on these various discussions we had. This contemporary civilization is so proud of its independence, but actually it is so much dependent on oil, right? And we have been seeing on and off again and again how there was Gulf War and so many other wars, how there was, even now recently when this Russian war, the oil crisis was there, right? We are so much dependent on, Prabhupada is trying to point out how much we are dependent on the natural resources and where from this natural resource of oil is coming. It's coming from Lord Krishna. He is the one who has created this. If the oil supply is stopped, then what will this rascal scientists do? They cannot do anything, right? Let them try to manufacture oil in their test tubes, enough oil to run their civilization on. So basically, Prabhupada is trying to tell us how the modern civilization is so much oblivious or unaware of the origin of different things which we are using for our day-to-day activities. Right? There is no power. Your generator has to run on diesel. Where from the diesel coming from? Right? You have to go commute from one place to another. You have to use a vehicle. That vehicle requires fuel. Where from that fuel coming from? Now, who made that fuel? This is the question we have to ask. How much we are dependent on this aspect of fuel, oil. At present, there is scarcity of water. One more point Prabhupada brings. Now we are seeing there's a crisis of water in India and many cities already. What can the scientists do about this? Right? Can they manufacture water in their laboratories? Which means we are so dependent on the various arrangements which Lord Krishna has made in the nature for us. The scientists may know the chemical composition of water, but they cannot produce it when there is great scarcity. Right now, there is so much news going on, at least cities like Bangalore. They say almost 80% of the lakes and the different water bodies in Bangalore are all destroyed. People are facing severe water problems. There was a news I heard recently that people living in very, very luxurious apartments in Bangalore, they're all going to nearby malls to use washrooms because there's no water. Yes, see. If scientists and all, if the modern day technology is so advanced, why don't you produce water? You know the chemical composition of water and everything. Why don't you produce water? So which means we are ever dependent on the different arrangements which the Lord has made for us. So the proper arrangement which Lord has made for us is what? The cloud arrangements. Cloud's help is required, and all that is God's manipulation. Actually, we cannot do anything. Right? This is a fact. We have to understand this. They have gone to the moon, but for all their labor, they have simply taken away some dust and rocks. Right? This Prabhupada talking in 1970s. How they claim, oh, we've gone to moon. For what? I've done that, this big thing, big achievement it is. But what did you do? Going to moon. Just brought some dust and rocks. The rascal government exacts taxes and spends money unnecessarily. Prabhupada is trying to challenge the modern day government. How they spend so much of money for this different space expeditions. That is their intelligence. It's the state of asses, that's all. Prabhupada was very bold in everything, stating anything. Right? Basically, this is happening as a part of a conversation with his close associates. He's trying to tell what is the situation of the present day contemporary civilization. How they all think that we are doing very big, smart cities we are doing, we have advanced in technology, we have established this great, wonderful things we have done, so much of advancements we have done. But at what cost? Right? Scarcity of water, scarcity of necessities of your life. I recently was speaking to one of the visitors here who had come from Kuwait. So he was telling me how in Kuwait the water is more expensive than fuel. Right? Just see. 1 liter of water is more expensive than the fuel because fuel is abundantly available there, but water is not available. Like this, so many arrangements which Lord has made, if we are not properly understanding the source and trying to use them in the proper sense for what purpose Lord has made, it is only going to create a lot of disturbance in society. Prabhupada is trying to expose the ignorance and the large scale type of a covering of our knowledge which we are going through. The politicians have no sympathy or compassion. They do not consider that the hard-earned money is coming from the public and they're spending it by shooting big rockets off to the other planets. Right? This is what is going on. The politicians think, oh, this expedition, that expedition, this we can do, this will help. But finally, the money from the tax collectors, the money from the public only is collected as tax and it's spent like that. Prabhupada is giving a picture of the modern day setup civilization. All they do is promise to bring back small dust. First, they may get a handful of dust, then they promise to bring back tons of dust. What is the meaning of all this? Prabhupada is challenging and asking. So one of the devotee accompanying is trying to give answer. They believe that there may be life on Mars. There may be life on Mars is what they are thinking. Right? They are just guessing. So Prabhupada is telling, okay, they may believe or not believe. What is the gain? You may simply go make space expeditions and trying to come to some conclusions. There is life on this planet, there is life on that planet. You believe or not believe, what is that gain we are going to get from these discussions, from these conclusions? What we do not know is that life is there. Firstly, what we do know is that life is there. We know this. Bhagavad Gita very clearly confirms. Sarvaga, living entities are everywhere in this creation. Every part of the creation. Even in sun planet, there are living entities. But they have bodies which can accommodate them in a specific way. Just like in our understanding. We think, oh, when we sterilize, it's like in the medical field, sterilization happens. When you sterilize, all bacteria are dead. Yes, maybe that particular situation for those living entities is not favorable. But living entities are everywhere in the creation. In sun planet, the living entities have a fiery body. Just like in water, aquatics have a watery body where it's suitable for them to live. Likewise, just like when there is fire, the fire ambulance and the fire, ambulance, the people, firefighters, they have a particular type of gown and everything which is actually resistant, is fire resistant, right? So likewise, there are fiery bodies, just like we have earthly bodies. There are different types of bodies which nature can give to a specific living entity in a specific place. This you have to appreciate. So we very clearly understand that life is everywhere, not only Mars, all over the creation. But we cannot perceive or understand because of our limitation. They know this, yet they are engaged in fighting and in killing life. Right? What is going on now in the present civilization? We are simply engaged in fighting. Just like, yesterday we heard a news how in Moscow there was a terrorist attack and more than 130 people are killed and hundreds of them injured. So evening bustling mall and then this terrorist attack happened and so many things. People are just wanted to fulfill their personal some animosity and some type of a previous enmity and doing all these things. Here is life. Here is human being. Life is here undoubtedly, but they are busy trying to destroy it with their big bombs. That is their scientific advancement. Right? What is going on in the world? You can see now. Everybody is fighting at different levels. Internationally, there's so many fights going on. I heard there are more than 25 to 30 wars going on. Only few we know, but so many wars going on continuously. Prabhupada's going to come to a very nice perspective going to give now. It's almost concluding. Prabhupada says, soul creates, matter is dead. So when this discussion about the various life in different planets was going on, the one more devotee posing as a scientist, he says, they are very curious to know what is going on other planets. Right? This is why they go to space. One of the reasons. Right? One reason is to find out, oh, there is some life there. Prabhupada says, we know life is everywhere. And one more thing is that they are very curious what's going on other planets, other places. Prabhupada says, that means that for their childish curiosity, they are spending so much money. Which money? The taxpayers' hard-earned money. Right? They can spend so much to satisfy the curiosity, but when so many poverty-stricken countries ask them for help, they say there is no money. Prabhupada is trying to point out how modern day they have all these arrangements to have big facilities of space expeditions or big IPL tournaments, spending billions. But when there is a request from some other needy countries for some help, they say there's no money. They're very proud to go to the moon, but why don't they take information how to go to Krishna's Goloka Vrindavan? Direct challenge. Prabhupada is posing. Right? Oh, I went to moon, going to Mars now, going to that planet. But Krishna Prabhupada says, go to Krishna Loka, no? Get information about this. This is what our ultimate destination is. That they don't want to take. If they go there, Prabhupada says, all their curiosity will be satisfied. They will learn that beyond this inferior energy, there is indeed a superior spiritual energy. Right? Beyond this inferior energy, there is a superior spiritual energy. This is what Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. Paras tasmat bhavo nyo vyakto vyakta sanatanam. Beyond this temporary material world, which is manifested and unmanifested again and again, there is the eternal, permanent spiritual world, which is called Sanatana Dhamma. This material energy cannot work independently. The spiritual energy has to join it. Matter cannot move. Spirit has to, spiritual touch is required. Only then matter can work. So the different various aspects going on in the material world, sun rising, seasons changing, all this is because of Lord Krishna's touch, his presence in the whole cosmic manifestation. So material elements are not created of themselves. It is the soul that is created. So again, Prabhupada is bringing the original point which he mentioned in the beginning of his discussion, this whole topic. Right? Material elements have no power of creation. It is the soul which is creative. We may try to make something with matter, but matter does not create itself. It's a very important principle you have to have in our mind, understanding. Matter, no matter, the matter, material ingredients or the matter energy has no power of creation at all. Right? It's only that when the spiritual spirit touches them and manipulates that, there is transformation. On its own, matter doesn't create anything. Hydrogen and oxygen will come in contact only when moved by the superior energy. Right? When the matter, when the spirit soul, the human being combines them, only then it will, there's a combination, there is a reaction. Otherwise, left to themselves, they stay like that for millions of years. Only fools can expect the entire cosmic manifestation is only matter to come into being automatically. This is the modern day theory that this world has come about automatically. Nothing can happen automatically. So somebody will say this building has been built automatically. No, there is a lot of planning happening behind this building of this building. Then there are a lot of labor involved in this. There was an engineer, there was contractor, so many people. Nothing can happen without Lord's rather the spirit soul's intervention. That's the point. We may have a nice car, but if there is no driver, what is the use? Just see. Right? Which means unless there is spiritual touch or spirit soul's involvement in handling matter, matter has no power. Matter is dead. Spirit is the one which is animating and activating everything. It's the important point which Prabhupada is trying to make. Unless a man knows how to work a machine, unless a man pushes a button, the machine does not work. It's like unless I'm operating this computer, it will not work on its own. I have to touch it, different buttons accordingly. I manipulate this machine, then it works. Very simple, common sense understanding which Prabhupada is trying to give us. Similarly, without the superior energy, the material energy cannot act. This is exactly what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Under my supervision, the material energy is acting, working, and doing various things. Because Krishna is directing and is activating that energy. Behind this wonderful cosmic manifestation is the direction of a superior energy. Right? All this information is given in the scriptures, but people still will not believe it. All very clearly mentioned in all the scriptures, whether it is Bible, Quran, Bhagavad Gita, whatever. Everything is there. But even then, people don't have that perspective, understanding. So one more wonderful perspective towards the conclusion Prabhupada brings about is why there is overpopulation problem. Who created this problem? Right now, we're all having this. Sort of a problem. Oh, so much population is increasing. How? Why? Prabhupada says, actually everything is God's property, but people are claiming this property to be theirs or their countries. We have demarcated ourselves as, this nation, that nation, and we are all claiming, I belong to this, I belong to that, so it's my country. But everything is God's property. Isha Vasya Vidam Sarvam. Now they are talking about the problem of overpopulation. But the fact is that God has supplied enough. In God's creation, everything is enough. But only thing is that we have created problems because of our mismanagement. Actually, there is enough land, enough food if it is properly used. Prabhupada says in one place that whatever population it is, there's so much abundant facilities Lord has made that 10 times of whatever population it is can be maintained, provided if there is proper management. If you mismanage, even existing population, there will be scarcity. Scarcity of oil, scarcity of wood, scarcity of all basic necessities of life. People are artificially creating problems. And the scientists are helping them by giving them so many destructive devices. Right? So many problems, what we are seeing is all because of our own created problems. We want to enjoy so much. It's like nowadays, for the sake of comfort and so much of we want to have an extravagant life. We are exploiting material resources. Right? Just like it is said, I was traveling and in the Delhi airport, I went to the washroom. There they don't have any tissue papers now. They replaced it with the hand dryers. There was a signage put next to the hand dryer, telling that the power consumption from this hand dryer is much lesser with compared to the type of different energy resources which is required to produce one tissue paper. Yes, see, they're realizing this now. Because tissue paper means one plant has to grow, tree, it has to become tree, then it has to be made paper. So much of procedure. Right? So no tissue paper in the Delhi airport now, in any washrooms. All are replaced by hand dryers. Otherwise, so much tissue papers, huge tissue papers are being used. They simply encourage the rascals and rogues who are trying to use up God's property. Right? So people are trying to realize that the sustainable living in the future can be possible only when we are realizing the importance of resources which Lord has given us. If you help a murderer or a thief, you also become a criminal. Is that not so? Right? So basically, what Prabhupada is trying to tell us here is that we are doing so many exploitation, so much of so many things, misusing the nature's arrangements. So, and also the scientists are helping this to do this. So, which means your criminal mentality is being encouraged by scientists. They also become criminal. There is so much trouble in the world because scientists are helping all the thieves and rogues. They're all criminals, right? Modern day warfare or modern day type of crimes, how hacking is happening, how nowadays, banks are repeatedly sending messages to all of us. Please be careful of hacking. Don't reveal your password to this, that, don't get into some phishing, so many things. They are why? Because the scientific way of criminality is going on now. Very advanced way of criminality is going on. Right? So Prabhupada says this is what is Bhagavad Gita telling. Stena eva saha. One who does not recognize the proprietorship of the Supreme Lord is a thief. Simply want to take away the resources and enjoy, and I want to have a comfortable life, but without recognizing Krishna, then you're a thief. Right? So Prabhupada concludes his talk of telling what is that we want to do through Krishna consciousness. Our mission is to bring these rascals. These rascals means common people, scientists, everybody who don't know what is the purpose of this creation, who created this material world, why this creation is running in a particular way, to bring them to their proper senses. Now we must find out the means to do this. Prabhupada is talking to disciples, what we should do. The rascals are suffering, but because they are sons of God, they should not suffer. Just see the compassion. This is the compassion with which Prabhupada left Vrindavan and went across the world. All of them, we are all part and parcel of God. We are all sons of God, children of God. We should not suffer, but we are suffering. Suffering in the sense of going through the different cycles of birth and death. Birth, death comes with old age, disease, and all the sufferings. Right? Taking a body means it is suffering. So the pure devotees, like Prabhupada's only mission is how to relieve the suffering of conditioned souls from the cycle of birth and death. They do not know that there is God or that there is happiness. They know nothing of bliss or of eternal life. Right? Totally unaware, ignorant of the real facts of life. They are carrying on so much research and living for 50, 60, or 70 years. Right? They don't know about eternal life. They think this 50, 60, 70 years I'm living, this is what life means. Let me, figure out things. Let me find out how to live a comfortable life, eat, drink, be merry. That's what they're thinking. After that, they do not know what is going to happen. They have no knowledge that life is eternal. They think this life of few, years is what my life is, and after that, life is over. Nothing. Actually, their position is like that of an animal. Animal does not know what is after death, nor does he actually contemplate death. This point is lacking in the modern day understanding. You don't know about eternal life. Just living like any other entity in the material world. Then what is the difference? That's why scriptures say there's a difference between Pashu and Nara. He does not know why he is here, nor does he know the value of life. Right? Under the influence of Maya, the animal simply goes on eating, sleeping, defending, waiting, and dying. That's all. All of us are doing all these things. Ahara, Nidra, Bhayamaisunam, cha samanya vedu Pashubi Narana. Pashu, Nara doing only these four things: eating, sleeping, waiting, defending. What is the difference? No difference otherwise. But humans have a special ability to understand about the purpose of life, value of life. People are endeavoring so hard, but for what purpose? Right? This is the mission of human life, to make them realize what is the use of your working so hard for what? They say that they are struggling so hard to make provisions for the next generation. But what are the provisions for? What are the provisions for? They cannot reply to that. Oh, we want to make a better future, but you will not be in the future only. Right? At what cost? So basically, Prabhupada is trying to tell the Krishna consciousness movement is meant to give real purpose of life by establishing Krishna, God, as the center of everything. Because unless you have this proper perception in life, anything you do will be only a defeat in our life. Right? It is therefore to the scientists' benefit to understand this important moment. So this concludes our discussion. And very wonderful perspective which Prabhupada gave us with regard to overall understanding about our life and how the modern day scientists or modern day education is actually, in one sense, misleading and misguiding us. Okay, so I'll conclude here. Anybody has something to discuss, ask before we close for the day? Sanyalji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Nothing much. The sun's thinking. What you are saying, that is, I'm on the contemplation mode.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Gupta ji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Getting a lot of new information and a lot of questions getting resolved one by one.
Yes.
But one confusion is there, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please.
We say consciousness is omnipresent. And then at the same time, we say when death occurs, soul leaves the body.
Yes.
So soul, where will the soul go? Soul is omnipresent. It is all the time, all the places, everywhere. Soul, where will soul go?
Okay, good question. See, you have to understand, in Bhagavad Gita, there is a very nice description of individual soul and super soul. Okay, in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains this distinction. The
Jivatma, Paramatma.
Yes, you're right. Jivatma and Paramatma. So basically, some so-called spiritualists have created confusion in the people's mind that Jivatma, Paramatma, individual soul and super soul are same.
Same, yes.
That is the confusion. So very clearly, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that the individual souls or Jivatma's consciousness is limited to its body. One point which I mentioned in the discussion was the spirit soul is all-pervading, meaning it can take its existence or life in any part of the creation. But its consciousness is not all pervading. Whereas Krishna also explained the Paramatma, a super source consciousness is all pervading, in the sense that Paramatma is in your body, Paramatma is in my body, Paramatma is even ant's body. So Paramatma's understanding or consciousness is all pervading. That means Paramatma knows every entity. Whereas you have your consciousness in your body, you don't know what is going on in my consciousness. I am limiting to my body. That's the point. So, your question, specific question of where does the soul go? If the consciousness is all pervading, there should be a little correction in that understanding. Individual consciousness is limited to individual body. And its consciousness, that's why it is called Jivatma or individual consciousness, spirit souls. Whereas Paramatma's consciousness is all pervading. Kshetrajnam Japi Mam Vidhi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. Krishna gives the concept of Kshetra, Kshetrajna. Okay, Kshetra means the field of activity. Kshetrajna means the knower of the field of activity. For us, this body is the field of activity. So we know about this body. Even then, even otherwise also, we don't know completely. We know to some extent. Right? Whereas Lord is called Sarvakshetreshu. He knows all the bodies because his entire creation is his field of activity. All the living entities are his creation. He knows everything, every aspect. The scriptures, Bhagavata says, the Supreme Lord he is actually Sarvagya. He knows everything. Right? So his understanding, his level of intelligence is so great that every aspect of your existence and everybody's existence, and everything in the material world, every nook and corner of this world creation, he knows. That is super soul. Whereas we have limitation with regard to our understanding, with regard to only because that is the understanding between the Jivatma, the Anu Atma, small entity, we, and Paramatma, Vibhu Atma, Krishna. So our soul, at the time of when we leave this body, will take an appropriate body, we discussed, based on the consciousness or the mentality we have developed in our life, this life. So this is a principle Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita also. That the type of mentality, the consciousness you have cultivated throughout your life, that will determine your next life. Whereas if you cultivate, in the previous statement, Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, same chapter, if your consciousness is aimed towards Krishna only throughout your life, Antakalecha mameva, Krishna says. At the end of your life, if you think of me only, which means, at the end means what? It's like a death is like a final examination in your body, in your life. So at the end, to get consciousness of Krishna means you should have practiced Krishna consciousness. Antakalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. See, Krishna explains about muktva kalevara. Kalevara means body. At the end of your of this body, if your consciousness is absorbed in me, you will come to me without doubt, Krishna says. And if you are not having this consciousness, yam yam vapi sparan bhavam. Whatever consciousness you have cultivated throughout your life, at that type of body you will get accordingly, is what Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita. So, two aspects we discussed. One is individual consciousness called Jivatma, and the super soul consciousness called the Paramatma. His consciousness is all pervading. Our consciousness is limited to our body. That's the point. And as the species of life is degrading, or rather coming down, this awareness becomes even more restricted. Just like I gave the example of tree, not even aware, or it cannot even protest about the various environmental upheavals, like severe heat, severe cold, no protest. Just like Prabhupada gives example of how a goat is about to be slaughtered. It is not even aware that next moment I'll be slaughtered. I'm just eating green grass now. That awareness about I'm spirit soul, I don't want to die. This points. This is called awareness. This consciousness, awakening of consciousness. So, as this whole species, this whole evolution of different species of life is basically evolution of consciousness. In human form of life, this consciousness is awakened fully. But if we don't use it for elevating ourselves to spiritual consciousness, remain as any other entity in the material world, then Lord will say, okay, you've not used your facility properly, then why you should be promoted, whether you are demoted. Again, next life. This is what Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. So use your consciousness to elevate yourself, not to degrade yourself. Hope it is clear. Muktaji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Danielji, fully.
No, we'll discuss later, Prabhuji, regarding that Jivatma traveling, these things.
Okay.
That we'll discuss in details.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fine then. So let's conclude now. So wish you all happy Gaura Purnima, happy Holi, and then
happy Holi.
All of you who can attend our festivals tomorrow in Vrindavan, please attend. Or online also you can attend and take blessings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.